Planned Parenthood is in minority neighborhoods a lot of times. And on the the stats, so I got something else on stats, but I want to go to Jay and see what Jay's got to say.
Oh, I honestly, I don't know how I could possibly speak to what I think Planned Parenthood's overall agenda is, whether or not I think that they're targeting minority groups. I find that hard to believe, but it sure does look like it. And the problem is that Planned Parenthood hasn't built up a lot of trust equity. They've done so much that is obviously evil that it's very easy when somebody says, look at these numbers, it's difficult to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I don't want to look at them and say, well, if I don't want to say that you're a racist organization targeting minorities, because that is the worst possible thing that I could imagine an organization could be, almost, quite frankly, in our society. But my goodness, I mean, your track record is terrible. So you've covered up all sorts of terrible things in the past. So why should I trust them? So I can see where both sides come from it. I don't think that you can fully trust what Planned Parenthood says they are, but you have to realize that what you're charging them with being when you say that is fairly monstrous. I mean, even beyond what we know them to be.
And like you had said, Jay, they haven't done anything to distance themselves from that.
No, absolutely. And I would think they would try harder. What's amazing, though, is that when you look at people who do Margaret Sanger stories or write Margaret Sanger's or PBS Margaret Sanger productions, it's amazing how often that people try their hardest to cover up the ugly parts of Margaret Sanger. She clearly means something to these people. I mean, it's very special to them in a way that is hard for us to imagine from the other side. But they do. Edwin Black even starts off. He has a whole chapter of her in War Against the Weak where he starts it off by saying she's not a racist. He ends it with saying that one of the worst things about eugenics is how it could pollute a woman who loved civilization and people as much as Margaret Sanger did. And I look back at that and I'm absolutely amazed that somebody as intelligent as Edwin Black can look at Margaret Sanger and say that she loved civilization. She spent her entire life trying to keep people from having babies because she thought that more people was a problem for the world. That's not loving civilization.
Okay, so you said, it's hard to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm a huge benefit of the doubt guy, and so I'm gonna, I'm willing. I mean, I've seen the live action, the statutory rape stuff. I think that's totally true. I think they totally cover up statutory rape.
Right.
I think there is definitely some suspicious stuff going on in the last series of videos, about the sex predators, not sex predators, but
the sex traffickers.
The pimp and prostitute thing. I think this, certainly they're killing 20. They're doing 25% of the abortions. They're doing 300,000 abortions. But are they racist?
Okay, that's just
my
the thing. We as pro-lifers see that abortion is an evil, and therefore we mistrust Planned Parenthood.
Right.
But in order to use an argument for another person, you got to see it through their perspective.
Right.
To them, Planned Parenthood might be more like Walmart. They're not exactly the nicest thing to come into your neighborhood, but just because Walmart targets low-income areas because they can market their supplies to that doesn't mean that Walmart's racist. Now, if you find someone saying Walmart's racist, I'd say go right to the Planned Parenthood.
You can say that Walmart is targeting minority, but
they're targeting
their services
a market
to minority
base.
groups.
Planned Parenthood can give free abortions to low-income people and get paid full price for it from our tax dollars.
Is it targeting or
it's good marketing?
Right, now that's good. Yeah, targeting versus accommodating, because it seems to me. I mean, and when you go back to, let me just for a second go back to the stats. You got these huge stats. Here's my thought. Here's what I've seen some really good research on. African Americans have a higher unintended pregnancy rate. Period. Now there's debate about why that is. Some people think that we don't even have to go there, but they have a higher unintended pregnancy rate. However, African Americans, when they do these surveys, they find that African Americans want this, in the end, in their family, they want their average family size to be the same number of kids as white people say, 2. 2's the magic number. Everybody wants, on average, 2 kids. And so if African Americans have more unintended pregnancies, but in the end they want the same amount of kids, do the math. I would expect they would have more abortions. That doesn't necessarily mean Planned Parenthood is targeting them or hoping they're going to get pregnant so that they can kill their baby.
Targeting is different. Are they targeting them because they can market a product to them, or are they targeting them because they want to extinguish them?
They want the product because they're willing to pay.
Can I interject here for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even think we have to put them in targeting and marketing sense. I mean, we clearly know that Planned Parenthood, for the most part, doesn't think abortion is wrong. They think it's a good thing. I mean, the best place you can see that is when you have disasters. They move in and offer free abortions as, in their mind, disaster relief. As twisted and as sick as that is, it demonstrates that they think that they're doing something good. So there's three possibilities. Are they targeting these minority groups in order to limit their growth? Are they targeting these minority groups because they are customers? Or are they targeting these minority groups because they honestly believe that they have something good to offer, which in their mind abortion is, and they want to give them to the people who need them the most, in essence? So if you want to in some way give them kind of a sick and twisted good side, that would gotta be the best that you can do. I mean,
and that's where
Right.
I'm going. That's where like I'm willing to say I'm give the benefit of the doubt and say I think they actually think abortion is a good thing, or at least a needed thing, a necessary evil. We need to have access to this, and a lot of white people don't go to Planned Parenthood for abortions. They go to private doctors where they'll pay more, but we want to make sure everybody has access to the service, and so we are going to make that available. That's my guess.
I think the real question is, if you were going to go with the racist topic, is the effect racist?
I'm willing to say it is.
It is extremely difficult to prove intent, especially with individuals and an entire company who's
Right.
probably just looking for the dollar like every other
Right.
company. But is the effect racist? I mean, what is the effect that's taking place on the African American or Hispanic communities?
The effect is that there's a whole lot of African Americans being killed, although to be careful though, I heard a very he's a very vocal and respected leader in the pro-life movement say that African Americans at this rate are going to go extinct. Now I don't think that's true because
Right.
we see African Americans still want to have families. It's not like they're wanting to kill all their babies. They're just having more abortions. So I don't think they're going to go extinct, but certainly Planned Parenthood is there providing their service.
Right.
and
Are they
it's happening
becoming
a lot.
more of a minority or less of a majority?
I've seen stats that suggest that the number of African Americans is going down, but I'm not willing to say that that's all because of abortion. I haven't seen that work.
There is something you have to consider, though, from the other side. I mean, if you're looking at this from and I remember talking to a gentleman one time through Cobb Pregnancy Services where I used to work, and I was teaching a class to these fathers-to-be, and one of the gentlemen came up to me, and he was giving me the stats on what was going on in the Black community in abortion, and I wish I knew the exact number, but I know it's somewhere between 45 to 48% of all African-American pregnancies end in abortion right now in the United States, as it was related to me, and when I went back and looked up later to verify what he had said. Now, if you're at the other end of that, if you are the race that is seeing that many number of your pregnancies end in abortion, and there is an organization out there that's facilitating that death on this scale, I understand where they're coming from when they look at this and say, you're trying to kill us.
Yeah, I can see why it'd be so easy to go with this, and I'm willing to even admit that's possible that maybe this is an entire 90-year conspiracy theory that started in the early 1900s, where we said we're going to try to thin out the African American race, and they've done that with Planned Parenthood. I'm willing to say it's a possibility. I'm just not convinced by all the evidence I've seen off of 21. It's 2.5 hours. I've seen this. I just don't see enough evidence to make me say definitively Planned Parenthood is out trying to kill a bunch of black people. I think maybe they're willing to kill any baby that they're paid to kill.
Well, then I'd like to ask you a question. Then, if we want to assume that they were started with that intent, and their company has carried on, do you think that was even in hushed corners and back rooms that would still be their intent, or just happens to be that was how this organization started, and it has continued on, whether people wanted to or not, with that same intent?
I'm guessing we could do the benefit of the doubt thing. I'm willing to say the latter is a possibility. Now, many people would say it's the former. Go ahead, Jay.
There was evidence at about the 30th anniversary of Planned Parenthood where Margaret Sanger got up and gave a speech, and then shortly after, she actually wrote letters on Planned Parenthood International Planned Parenthood letterhead, that there was already a division between Margaret Sanger and this institution. Now, the evidence would be that she was having to argue her position that eugenics still had a place within Planned Parenthood. That is an inference. You see Margaret Sanger having to defend this position in Planned Parenthood letterhead to her organization that she helped find. And the inference from that is that she's getting resistance from this as her time at Planned Parenthood is and her influence over it is waning. And so I think that, you can obviously see at that point, it would be difficult for me to imagine again that they were able to operate with that kind of a focus for that long. But that doesn't mean that it's not obvious that there were racist elements that were strongly influential at the beginning, and that there are still racist elements within the community today.
Yeah. Let's talk about the live action racism investigation. I don't know if you've seen those videos, Jay, but they did this project. This was before they did the statutory rape investigations, where they had somebody making phone calls to a couple of different Planned Parenthood, I think 4 or 5 Planned Parenthood facilities, pretending to be a racist, wanting to pay for a black abortion or black abortions.
Right.
And they recorded the phone calls. They did in states where they could record
one-way
that.
recording laws.
Right. And they got at least 4 or 5 Planned Parenthood facilities accepting the donation, which the person made extremely clear he's doing it for racist reasons. He's concerned about all these black people and affirmative action and all these horrible
helping
things.
his son get ahead in college.
If you watch the videos, the implication is that here's proof that Planned Parenthood, corporate Planned Parenthood, is racist. What do you guys think?
Well, I've seen those videos, and I remember we did a show about it.
We did.
And the one that we listened to, it sounded really, obviously the girl on the phone was very uncomfortable with the type of donation that was being given, and kept saying things like, you want to give this to help a minority woman.
Right.
And basically ended up taking the money.
Sounded very disgusted with the guy and wanted to get him off the phone pretty quick.
Really confused. Like, what are you saying? I can definitely send it to help a minority, yay! Right. But I really can't think you can pin the entire organization of accepting tainted funds.
And the fact that, I mean, Planned Parenthood, just like any organization, profit or nonprofit, is looking and needing funds. So even if it was dirty money, it was being given to their cause, and you have one individual. I understand that is an issue, and obviously there was reason that it was controversial and that it made some news. But I don't think you can engross the whole company based off those few people. Yet that is that dirty money there.
Right.
Well, it's not like she was trained in how to reject racist funds on the phone.
Well, clearly they'd never received a call like this before.
No, I don't think anyone has. It was a very awkward call.
Jay, final thoughts from you. We got 2 minutes left.
First of all, the first question was, can you create an argument against abortion, taking the racist angle, focusing on Margaret Sanger? I don't even think that's necessary. I mean, obviously, coming from LTI, I think that the central question is, what is the unborn? What are the unborn? And if the unborn are human beings of full moral worth, then abortion itself is an unimaginable evil. If they are not, then abortion is nothing more nor nothing less than something similar to a tooth extraction. So I'm not fond of making arguments against abortion based on the motives or the quality or identity of someone with that sort of thing. Like, she was a racist or not. I think she's actually worse than a racist. I think a racist is too easy a term for her. But I don't think that impacts what Planned Parenthood is directly today, and I don't think it's a great argument against abortion, and I really don't think Margaret Sanger matters anymore.
Yeah.
Weigh the evidence. Here's my challenge for the listeners, because there's a lot of listeners right now that are upset or frustrated. It's like, wait, this is so obvious. I've seen the documentary. I mean, clearly, just weigh the evidence, take a look, and even if you disagree with my view, that maybe Planned Parenthood is not racist, because I was going to say the exact same thing you said, Jay. Should this be our primary argument? Even if Planned Parenthood does want to kill more black babies, I'd rather talk about the fact that they're willing to kill babies.
Any of them.
Yeah. That's a nearly uncontested fact. I think that should be the focus, that abortion is wrong because it kills human beings, whether they're black or white or Hispanic. I don't care. They're killing babies, and it's wrong to kill babies. And if we focus on that like a laser beam, like Scott says, then I think we can actually help people to see why our view makes so much sense.
You've been watching Life Report. Pro-life talk, real-world answers. Life Report is produced by Right to Life of Central California. Visit their website at fresnoprolife.org.